A very good morning to you, dear viewers at home. Welcome to this morning's edition of the newspapers on OSBC television. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. And I have about 10, between 10 and 12 newspapers for review this morning. And I'm still awaiting my guest analyst on the program, Barrister Kayode at ABC, who is probably on his way to this place. And I have the Nation newspaper, I have the Punch, Vanguard, the Point, Blueprint, the Guardian, National Economy, Nigerian Tribune, Daily Trust, This Day, New Telegraph, Leadership, Business Day, The Sun. Those are the newspapers that we shall review this morning on today's edition of the newspapers. I want to start from the front page of the Nation newspaper. Kuje prison, 64 Boko Haram suspects escape after attack. Ocean 2022, Buhari gives flag to Oyetola. PDP candidate absent at debate. Adeleke promises council autonomy. Vote buying won't determine outcome, says APP candidate. And we also have this one. Federal government petrol scarcity will linger until full deregulation. Those are the headlines on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And from the Punch newspaper, the matter making the rounds now is the Kuje prison invasion. And on the front page of the Punch, we have this Kuje prison invasion. ISWAP claims responsibility, frees Kaduna train attack mastermind. There are some riders there. And Fuel says 175 naira per litre, marketers plan strike, whips worsen. That is from the front page of the Punch newspaper. We also have this one. Families panic as terrorists threaten abducted train passengers. Lagos neighborhood officer blinds Pachigua agency disown suspect. Lagos airport runway shut. Airlines predict flight delays. And from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have this one. Kuje attack. I fled with my 3 kids as bomb rained. Housewife. That is referring to the Kuje attack by terrorists who invaded the correctional center and brought out inmates, freeing some inmates, and out of about 1,300 and something inmates, it remains only 111 after the head count. Gunmen attack NYC lodge in Akwa Ibom, rob, rape female occupants. One will see that crime is already becoming endemic in this country now because of the fact that what we are reading here is a pointer to that fact. We go to the point. The Point newspaper. Iliya Kabir, buyers lament high cost of rams. That's a very serious one. And my guest is already seated in the studio. I'm talking about Barrister Kayode at BBC. Barrister, you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, we'll go back to the front page of the Nation newspaper. Federal government petrol scarcity will linger until full deregulation. And we are already having fields of this. There's a newspaper report which we are going to analyze later that the fuel is being sold for 175 naira per liter now, if not more. What is your take on this?
Well, it is expected because the matter has been on for some time now, and we have not seen any tangible efforts or innovative decision taken by the federal government. So unless we revamp our refineries and we are able to refine our own petroleum in Nigeria, these problems will persist. Even in Abuja, Lagos, these petroleum workers by the roadside, they do sell between 400 and 300 naira per liter, carrying the jerry cans. This is again the established law on the how to handle a product like that. So who are we deceiving? Just 2 days ago, there was a jailbreak. So it is one of these scenario like this that can further exacerbate the condition of the security in Nigeria. So I think the federal government has not really done the necessary, the needful in terms of making the petroleum available. Election is coming. We have in Osun this year in July. So this will like this will not be allowed to spiral out to other states in Nigeria. Something drastic should be done to arrest the ugly situation.
Kuje prison, 64 Boko Haram suspects escaped after attack. 64 Boko Haram suspects have escaped or were freed by the attackers. Nigeria is becoming another thing now. The government has not been able to make any arrests up to this moment. How will you react to this?
Even the presidency have the courage to go to the so-called Senegal when we have a kind of this is a kind of more or less internal civil disobedience to the constituted authority.
Civil disobedience.
So if care is not taken, it can lead to internal insurrection. We don't want any military people to use this avenue again to strike. But it's something unpredictable. You cannot erase it totally. So how can a president go to Senegal when your house is on fire? Why can't you delegate it to any other key officer in the country? Jailbreak within the Abuja metropolitan cities, for that matter, so non-state actors. So they have more intelligence than our own state actors.
What happens to our intelligence authority?
There can be collaboration or connivance. It's possible because, so to say, we are now in festive mode. Within 10 now, they will celebrate a layer festival. Who knows whether these people are being set free to go and celebrate their own? Maybe a kind of bargain between them and their collaborators that set us free, want to go and celebrate.
From the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Kuje attack, I fled with my 3 kids as bomb rained. Housewife said when the bombs were raining, she had to move.
Because it was around, I think around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. as at that time when they struck. So definitely we still ask the neighbors that are still here to sleep. Nobody will know what to eventually snowball into, what the matter will snowball into. So they have to run for their lives. That's what we are saying. In a prison of that nature, there's going to be a kind of first-class set of arts equipment. Even before you step into it this time, they must have been seeing people coming. Why can't they do that without the allocation for the federal government? Why can't they do that? So the implication is that we have more crimes now. These people that have been let loose, they will go back to their normal illegal business.
Still talking crime. This is also on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Gunmen attack NYSC lodge in Akwa Ibom, rob, rape female occupants. This is another criminal occurrence.
Yes.
Is crime not becoming endemic in this country?
It's become part and parcel of a daily occurrence. That is why ordinarily there should have been a state of emergency clear in certain part of the country, whereby you bring in the military men to coexist with the civilian regime. They call it diarchy. It's not something ordinary civilian can do when we come to security matters. People that are trained, that know how to do this thing, let them be brought in. A kind of doctrine of necessity. Some people will not say it's undemocratic. No, it's a doctrine of necessity. We are in a state of siege and total breakdown of law and order in certain area of the country, which actually has effect on other part of the country where peace is relatively in existence. So in that corpus law, ordinarily they should know that they are soft target. And because of their national assignment, they ought to have prepared certain security devices, measures on ground for them. It's not the first time that will happen. That has been happening before.
The Point newspaper is our next port of call. The Point newspaper. Idil Kabir, buyers lament high cost of ramps. Sellers incur losses due to low patronage. Cost of transportation increases from 400,000 naira to 1.2 million naira. Barrister Adebisi, what will be the implication of this on the economy of this country?
Well, already there is inflation on ground, and where there is even money to purchase that costly materials, expensive product. The killing of ram is not compulsory. It's your piety that God knows. God knows your mind that you don't have this time around. So we are certain people, they will not pay their children's school fees, but when it comes to this issue of ram, they go and borrow money just to show that I'm also capable, I have money. So set your priority right. If you don't have money to do it this year, who knows next year? But in this time, in this part of the world, you have turned this thing as a kind of compulsion that I must obey God of sin. My knives should not go down the ground without eating the ram. So that's the mentality.
Blueprint newspaper, that is where we are now. Investigation, how intelligence failure, insiders conspiracy led to Kuje break. This is a pointer to what Barrister Adebisi has just said.
Yes, that's conspiracy. Why is it in the first period? And when you have even this UK Prime Minister suggested to our president at their last meeting in Rwanda that they should assist Nigeria in terms of security. Well, from what I read in the newspaper, the president turned down the request that they should build their satellite to Kenya. They should go and help Kenya. As if the UK was the one that caused the fall of Gaddafi. That's the kind of innuendo he was sending to the UK Prime Minister. So, and the US Senator is accusing Nigeria of persecuting Christian community in terms of how priests, Catholic priests in particular, are being kidnapped and killed every now and then. And the Federal Minister of Information just told us that it was ISWAP that attacked people in our state. How come that ISWAP got to our border? Was there no security on our border again? Now move down to the southwest. Those are the issues that actually bring a kind of suspicion, mutual suspicion among Nigerians.
And the president traveled when the thing occurred.
When the thing, yes.
Northern Elders Forum tackles APC PDP over presidential running mates. Accuses politician of holding nation hostage with ethnic, religious politics. That is coming from Blueprint newspaper.
Right. Ethnic or religious politics. This is not something that you can wave aside. Because there is already a division on the land.
Nigeria is a multi-ethnic country.
So we have to take care of our differences. So, but as far as APC is concerned or PDP is concerned, it is their party affairs. If they choose to present Muslim, then the party will decide ultimately, the Nigerian will decide ultimately.
Yeah.
If PDP also decide to go the way of insisting on Okowa instead of Wike, the Nigerian will decide. So, but what is more matter is that it is the kind of leader we have. We have had leaders in the past, like Yaradua, that did not cause any kind of suspicion. But when this Buhari regime came, people started to complain. And the complaints are genuine in terms of appointment, in terms of this, terms of that. But we hope when you have the new leader, by God's grace, in the next year, be it under IPC, Asiwaju, then we know him as a person for years, that he has been a great bridger and a keen leader who knows the problems of Nigeria. Nigeria, it's a matter of individual style we have, not party per se. It's individual style of Buhari as a person. And some people have been suspecting that even before he was presented by the APC, going by his antecedents in the military days, 8 days, and as the roles he had paid before. So, but let's have a new individual there next year. It's not an issue of being a particular party.
Well, let us go now to the Guardian newspaper. Buhari decries poor intelligence at Kuje jailbreak, demands probe.
Were there any intelligence at all in the first place? Whether poor or rich? Were there any? They have been, even the Abakari is said now to be missing. It's a man, and that is the place, and it's this person that has applied for bail 2 times, that the bail was refused. Who knows? Whether it was part of it was privy to all this kind of mess. So it was also, I said it was a planned game. They planned it, and they believe that nothing will happen. It's not the first time. It happened in Ibadan, it happened in Ondo, daybreak in Nigeria.
Let's now go to national economy. That is the newspaper to be reviewed next. 2,000 bakeries close shop over high cost of production. Bakeries closing shop.
Yes.
And one of the most important staple food in this country is bread.
Another thing that has to do with
another thing that has to do with flour.
Flour.
So if 2,000 bakeries are closing shop, what does it portend for?
Well, people have to get alternative, and that is the reason why we must lay more emphasis on our own agricultural development. The war between Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine is the world's most productive country in terms of grains and other things that have to do with flowers. So now they cannot produce maximally because of the ongoing war. So it is affecting almost every other continent, and it should not be so. I don't mean that we have our own mechanized agricultural practice. You can produce material for baking bread in Nigeria. We have more than enough. But resorting to this foreign taste, that is one of the consequences we are facing now.
Nigerian Tribune. And from the front page of Nigerian Tribune, we have a lot of stories. But let me start from Osun State here. Again, peace effort on Osun PDP crisis suffers setback. Okowan mulls fresh plans. Party holds granddaddy in Osogbo today. That is talking on the Osun State PDP crisis. How will you react to this?
There is nothing that comes out of nothing. Es nihilo nihi. When you don't put priority on justice, you cannot get peace. When you have cheated somebody and say, oh, please, let us get the ticket, then we get there, you say, no. You must also put on the table the parameters for justice. You must admit that you have actually cheated this person. If you refuse to admit, then how can the person trust you? You want to just use me and dump me. It's caucus for every political party. They want to emphasize peace. You want peace. You want amicable settlement. But what is of the issue of justice? Like the Wake is saying now, articles should not come to him one-on-one, because you know in our concern that powers will shift to the south. So now you left everything open. Even the key posts in the PDP national body, they are being occupied by the northerners. And you are talking of peace. How can the peace occupy in the heart when there is injustice? Two cannot coexist together.
Yes. We now go to another one. Is on the front page of the Tribune newspaper. Impeachment. Or your assembly direct chief judge to set up role panel on deputy governor. This is coming after a court.
When the judgment is fixed for 26th of this month by Justice Ladepo Akintola. So it's the judgment of the court that will determine. They have adopted their written addresses, and the judgment said that you have violated his constitutional rights. There's nothing they can do again. They can change the power, of course, to set up the panel. But if you raise certain fundamental issues as to his rights, then the pronouncement of the court will overtake anything the so-called panel intends to do.
Yes. Before we round up on this program, let's take the News Telegraph newspaper. And I want to take just this minor piece. Obito Kwakonso, primitive sentiments like yours being of Nigeria's development. The friendly, the friendliness between the two is beginning to tear apart. Obi and Kwakonso, when Obi is uttering this.
They are only mounting the friendliness. They are suggesting it. They are trying
yet
to come to reality. And you know, Peter Obi has decided from day one that he will never be a second fiddle. Ekweme has been a second fiddle. He has been nominated second fiddle for 2 times. So this time around, they believe we have been PDP since 1999, serving PDP the Igbos. They have never given us this ticket. So this time around, I'm going to test my popularity. I'm going to take them lesson. Whether or not my vote, the result I will get, will affect the fate or otherwise of Atiku. So there are people like Kwankwaso say cannot be a vice president. So how do you expect him also to be your running mate? So it's a matter of personal interest between the politicians.
There are still some newspapers to cover, but our time is fast spent. It is on this note that we shall be calling it a day on today's edition of the newspaper. I want to specially thank my guest on the program, Barrister Kayode Adebisi, for coming. And on behalf of my executive producer, Akinola Owolabi, and the producer, Oluwatoyin Yusuf, Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Until tomorrow, when our colleague will be in the house to bring you another edition of the newspapers, I say good morning.